Yeah, that's intense. That's I can't imagine what it would be like to like hear voices like in your mind. Like I had like I don't know, they weren't like voices per se. They were I just for me they were like my own thoughts. Like I knew they were thoughts, but I like believed all the thoughts that were like coming to me. But they didn't have like specific identities that had, that were coming. And they weren't like auditory, like I couldn't like hear them in the room, It was just like it was still like in my own mind. So like I would call mine were like more like delusions than like auditory hallucinations. Uh,
Delusional thoughts, yeah.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but
So
it's
like see your thoughts and them being delusional. Would you say that you had no control over them?
it wasn't so much that I had no control. It was more that like um, I was more influenceable. So I was like more able to be swayed towards a certain disposition or swayed towards a certain worldview more easily than I would if I was like sober, so to speak, sober, like not in
Okay.
a psychotic state.
Yeah.
Because there was one point where they put me on medication that took away the observer or the person that was filtering stuff. And when I came to consciousness, I was like knocking over like a pea cup off of like a fucking table, like I was doing some crazy stuff, like really crazy stuff. And it's because I wasn't there to like filter through like what was rational, what wasn't rational. And like one of the ladies said
Right.
that I was one of the most crazy people she's ever seen come in there. And it's like because they put me on a medication that like I wasn't able to filter through anymore. I don't remember being brought into the hospital. They put me in an ambulance. I blacked out in the ambulance because they gave me medication that would make me black out, I think. And I don't remember
Right.
anything until I was like in the hospital and I was acting crazy. And it's like, well, like I wasn't there to monitor. I was filtering through some of the stuff that was coming through my mind. Like not
Yeah.
everything expressed itself, but some of it did. And that was things that I kind of chose to some degree, but I was more influenceable. And I definitely did things that were crazy for sure that I chose to do, not like with my rational mind, but with my psychosis mind,
Yeah.
being it more influenceable. I don't think that's a word, but you guys know
I
what it.
understand it.
Yeah.
There's a word for that. It's called dogberryism, where you say a word that isn't a word, but it makes sense.
Oh, okay. What is it called?
Dogberryism.
Dogberryism? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Nice. Yeah.
So would you say the medication gave you even less control over your irrational thoughts and behavior?
Well, so I don't know what medication they gave me there. I think it was like a sedative to like basically knock me out so they could transport me easier, essentially.
Uh-huh.
So I don't that wasn't like an antipsychotic medication. But I was gone. Like I wasn't my consciousness wasn't present, at that moment.
Hmm.
It was like I went to sleep without dreams or anything. It was just like gone and then I came back. Um,
Right.
but the medication itself, the antipsychotic medication, like I don't know, it's hard to tell. Like I think it was helpful, but I also don't know because like I wasn't able to like experience two different tracks of recovery. So like I took the track of taking medication because that's what was recommended to me. I don't have like a parallel reality that I can also like tap into where I did not take medication. So I don't
Yeah.
know like if it was helpful or not. What I do know is that when I try to go off medication now, um, I find that I am more irritable. I find that I have a difficulty coping with stress and things like that. So I think it does help
Right.
to some degree with sort of my variation in moods that like I was diagnosed with bipolar. I'm not a huge fan of diagnoses because I think people tend to like identify with them and say like, oh, I'm bipolar, therefore, oh, I'm this, therefore. It's like I don't know. I try to just address the person for what they're experiencing in the moment and not put a label on it because that's just another way for someone to attach themselves to something. It can be
I
helpful.
agree with you.
It can be helpful for some people, but for other people, they view themselves as the label and it becomes their identity, and that's a problem. And
Yeah.
that's go ahead, sorry.
No, I completely agree with you. Like people associate their label as themselves and they start to form their identity around it.
Mhm.
And it's almost like getting sucked into a vacuum with it, right? And then feel like it makes you harder to escape from it as well.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like that's another reason, and I've discussed this with you before, and that's another reason why I decided to change my channel name, and that's why I'm deciding to go in a different direction because um I mean most of my audience is like people who found me either through my DMT video or found me through my psychosis videos, which is great. But
Yeah.
I don't want to I don't really have the desire to like make psychosis videos anymore. I feel like I'll still make videos. Like I'm not opposed to making them, but like I don't want my main focus to be psychosis because
Yeah.
it's there's when you make a certain amount of videos and like content's out there, I feel like I've made enough content out there like to help people get through what they need to get through. If they have
Yeah.
personal questions for me, they can ask me. If I feel like it's something that needs to be shared with a greater audience, I'll make a video about it. But like, I think it's important for people to see somebody like me who's been through psychosis, but is also just like a normal person and has a normal life
Yeah.
and does normal things and has a girlfriend and has little kitty cats and like
Yeah.
okay, you know, I'm not identified with psychosis. Yes, it's happened to me, but I'm not Hayden, the guy with psychosis. I'm Hayden who has had psychosis, but has a
Yeah.
normal life, you know.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. So that's
Um,
why I made the change, you know.
what's really encouraging about your page is how you've overcame it as well. Like you're on what is like not point, you're on like the lowest medication you can possibly be on, right?
Pretty point five is like my psychiat like there's one dose lower, but she said like 0.25 is literally like they give that to children for like irritability or people with autism. Like children with autism, they give it to them for like irritability. Like people who get
Wow.
frustrated and stuff like that. It's not like 0.5, she said, is like the lowest dose that could possibly have a therapeutic benefit for you.
Yeah.
So when I asked her about going off the medication, she's like, honestly, like there's not really a point to because it's not going to have like a long-term health consequence to you. Eventually, maybe later on when I'm more secure and I have like more of a foundation, because I'm still like I'm pretty stable for the most part. But some
Hmm.
days, you know, I struggle a little bit, and other days, you know, not with psychosis, but just with like depression or stress or things like that. It comes in and
Yeah.
out. You know, it comes in phases. I'm not
Yeah.
like chronically depressed. Um,
Yeah.
but when I feel like I'm secure and I'm really grounded and I'm like, you know what, you know, I want like I want another challenge in my life, then I'll be like, you know what, maybe it's time to try to get off the medication and see what that's like. But at this
Yeah.
point, it's like it's helping me. It's not causing any problems. I don't have any side effects. So like why would I try to get off of it at this point? You know? It's not
Yeah.
hurting anything, you know, at this point. So my blood work is good. I'm okay, you know.
As long as you're healthy, man.
What's that?
As long as you're healthy.
As long as I'm healthy. If it started to impact my health, I'd be like, okay, like we need to start thinking about alternative methods of how to do this, you know. Maybe thinking
Yeah.
about maybe trying different plants that have natural antipsychotic properties or something and weaning off the more heavy medication going on to something else like CBD shows potential for antipsychotic, which I take anyways, you know. So
Hmm.
um, it's like but you know just finding more of a structured plan of how to be more holistic and make it so it's a benefit for me, which is probably a video I could make honestly about the importance of treating psychosis holistically, not just focusing on one component of the healing, which I think is probably an important thing to do. I might write that.
Yeah. That is exactly why I've started my page because, well, I don't know very many people that have had psychosis.
Mm,
You are one of the few. And I don't know anyone that has gone through psychosis without medication.
Mhm.
And so I want to put my content up as quickly as possible so that anyone who does have psychosis and they want to try it without starting medication, like
Mhm.
you know that first instant whenever you get off with medication, I want to be able to have my content up there so that they're able to see that to give them confirmation and com comfort in their decision making on whether or not they want to take it or whether they don't want to take it.
Mhm.
Because whenever the psychiatrist offers you medication, they can really pressure you into like whether or not to take the medication. Like my psychiatrist, I told him he tried to get me to take the medication early. So my mental health nurses, they told me beforehand that they were supposed to wait 30 days for me to get all of the drugs out of my system.
Mhm.
So there was THC in my system, and they found amphetamines in my system,
Mhm.
even though I'd not taken any amphetamines.
It might have been well. You said the weed in Ireland is kind of janky, so they might have thrown amphetamines inside the weed to get people addicted to it.
That's a good point. They
Because
could do that.
amphetamines is an addictive substance. So if the dealer can get you hooked on amphetamines, you're gonna keep coming back, and you're gonna think it's weed, but they actually put some amphetamines in there,
That's a very good point.
which
Yeah.
also is a big trigger of psychosis as well.
Yeah.
Amphetamines.
Ironically, though, whenever I was in psychosis in Vietnam, one of my friends told me that they had tested my blood before putting me on this game show.
Mm.
And he said, Leo, amphetamines came up in your blood. What the fuck have you been doing taking amphetamines?
Mm.
And that was before I had the blood test in Ireland.
Mm.
So that was a weird synchronicity, you could maybe call it,
Yeah,
or coincidence.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's why I'm starting my page to help people who want to try it without medication.
Mm.
Because once you go on the medication, it's, well, I don't know what it is like, but I presume it's a very different experience to not having medication because then you're dealing with
Another.
getting off the medication.
Mhm.
Like, I went onto Reddit before, like, so I got told I had to take 10 milligrams of olanzapine. And
Mhm.
so I went onto Reddit to see what reviews there were of olanzapine.
Mhm.
And the reviews I read were people saying that they tried to go off olanzapine after a couple of years and their psychosis came back.
Mhm.
And then there was other ones of people who'd like tried to overdose on olanzapine, and that scared the fuck out of me hearing their stories.
Mhm.
So I was like, fucking no chance, I'm not taking this.
Yeah.
And so the psychiatrist, he told me I have to take this. He told me I have no other option. He told me that he is a doctor, he knows best.
Mhm.
And then all the mental health nurses, they also were pressuring me. They were telling me, now I really think you should take the medication. And they even got my mum to pressure me to try and get me to take the medication.
Mhm.
And I had integrity. I said no.
Mhm.
And eventually, after a couple of weeks, a month, I went hardcore at trying to, you know, battle my psychosis.
Mhm.
And the psychiatrist told me that I should take half of what he prescribed. And then a couple of weeks later, he told me to just keep on doing what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So, I my my goal now is to help people believe in themselves that they can battle their psychosis without medication.
Mhm. Nice. That's cool. Yeah, because you were able to do it for yourself. That's pretty cool. So
Yeah,
maybe
man.
maybe share like what your journey was in recovery, because I know since because it was different than a lot of stories that I've heard. So I'm sure people would want to hear that. So what that journey was for you.
Sure.
You sort of
So,
alluded to it, but I like what exactly did you do that like was it helped you recover?
so what really helped me was a video, a TED talk actually by Dr. Daniel Amen. Have you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
No. So he's a psychiatrist, and he is the only psychiatrist in the world that scans people's brains to see what illness they have.
Mm.
So he was actually able to see from his brain scans that, children with ADHD would have similar looking brains. People with psychosis would have similar looking brains,
Mm.
and people with depression would have similar looking brains.
Mm.
This also branched out for like dementia and Alzheimer's.
Mm.
And he has these techniques that you could have for creating a healthier brain.
Mm.
So, seeing this video, I was determined to give myself the healthiest brain I could possibly have.
Mm.
And so I only did what was healthy for my brain. So I had to completely change my diet. I had to completely change my thinking pattern. I got rid of a lot of bad habits. And one step at a time, I slowly integrated healthy habits.
Mm.
I changed my environment. So not being friend groups and also being more time in nature and also more time alone
Mm.
and just experimented with a fucking lot of things, man.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. What kind of
So,
things did you experiment with?
so in particular, whenever I was in deep in my psychosis, what I experimented most with was breathing exercises, meditation, yoga, exercise, diet, sleep. Really try to get my sleep in order. Um, so fasting structures. So like I brought in intermittent fasting. Um, what else is there? Affirmations, visualizations. Um,
So just like every angle you could possibly think of, you were trying to work on it, basically.
Everything that was healthy for your brain, I did it.
Right.
Another thing, I learned how to juggle
Oh, nice. Yeah.
because juggling, it increases the white matter inside of your brain, making it bigger and helping with motory movement and all sorts. So
Mm.
yeah, after many a days of practicing, I learned how to juggle.
Let's can we see some action? Do you have any
Yeah,
balls?
I'll get some balls.
Yeah. I'm trying to find something that maybe I can juggle with.
I'm back.
Nice.
Uh, so it might take a couple of times for me to get this going.
You're good.
Well,
Nice.
well,
How long did it take you to learn?
um, honestly, it took me like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long. Yeah. I also learned how to juggle when I was recovering from my first psychosis too.
Did you?
Yeah, just like subconsciously, I was home a lot and I was like, oh, well, I learned how to juggle. These are
No way.
these are kind of hard to juggle because they're like weird objects. If I can find three objects of similar size, here we go.
It's the weight that's the big one. That's so ironic that you learned how to juggle while psychosis too.
Yeah, it's funny. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah,
Guys, you could as well.
I learned how to as well. Yeah.
Unreal. That's
I
amazing, man.
also play the trumpet too, and I play a little piano, and I also
Do
play
you?
the guitar. Yeah.
Wow, unreal, man.
Yeah, I played the trumpet in high school. I don't really play anymore, but I used to play a lot.
Awesome. Do you still have a trumpet?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
I wouldn't be able to play in this apartment though. I'd have to put a mute on it and then put headphones in to actually hear myself because
Okay.
I live in an apartment complex, so people will be yelling at me.
People get pissed off.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because we have a lot of different things in common.
I did, yeah, I didn't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually played French horn whenever I was in school,
Mm,
but I never owned my own French horn. So my dad got me a pocket trumpet. So it's like half the size.
okay, cool.
Kind of, it's more the size of like a cornet.
Okay, gotcha. Is it like a piccolo trumpet?
I'll show you, man.
Okay, just show me. Yeah.
This is it.
Okay, cool. I see the Batman sign in the back. It says I'm Batman. Just like in
The poster, yeah.
yeah, just like in Vietnam when the bats were in your room.
Yeah, how ironic is that, right? Um, yeah, so I had a girl around months ago, and if you can see like top right corner, there's like a lot of masks there.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it turns out those masks are actually used as like sort of pagan god rituals.
Yeah.
I was never aware of that. I just thought they were cool designs.
Oh, really?
And then I've got Tibetan prayer flags.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, Batman, like elephants.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of like, godish related for different sort of like cultures.
Yeah. Well, the elephant
Okay.
is Ganesha in India.
True, yeah, Ganesh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's the god of weed. So
No,
that's a fun bit.
that's Shiva. Shiva is the god of weed.
You are right. Thank you for correcting me on
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
That's
As you
cool.
can tell,
That's a cool trumpet. Yeah.
yeah, it's small, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's fun.
Nice.
I don't play it that often, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
um,
But yeah. My dad played the French horn.
did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does he still have one, or?
Yeah, he still has one. He doesn't really play. He used to play it when I would play the trumpet a little bit, but uh
Unreal.
yeah, he doesn't really play any. He plays the piano though.
Cool. Yeah, my dad's actually a piano teacher.
That's cool. That makes sense why music is a big part of your life, it seems.
Yeah, same for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you play any music now?
I'll play the guitar every once in a while, but
Hmm.
I'm not like super good at the guitar. I'm just, I just know how to play chords and stuff. So
Okay, cool.
I'll just, pick up.
Nice.
I'll pick songs that I want to play, and then I'll just look them up and try to figure them out. So I have a few songs memorized, but most of it's just like me messing around on there. So that's fun.
Okay, cool.
I use
That's the fun way to do it.
Yeah, I used it a lot. Like when I was recovering from my first psychosis, I would play a lot of music and listen to
Yeah,
a lot of music. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. I would have played like I play tin whistle. This
And my dad plays the penny whistle.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He used to play it for me when I was a kid, like going to sleep. He'd play the penny whistle for us, and then we'd fall asleep.
Oh, wait, what do you call it? A penny whistle?
Penny whistle, yeah.
Okay. We call this a tin whistle.
Okay. Yeah.
So, do you know where the penny whistle originates from?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. This is like a traditional Irish instrument.
Okay. Well, I think
Yeah.
it is an Irish. I think it looks exactly like that. So I think it's
Okay. We could just have a different name for it then.
yeah, just different name. Because let me look it up. Let me look it on the internet. So
Cool. Yeah, I would have played more. I would have played a lot of tin whistle during my psychosis.
yeah, tin whistle, also called the penny whistle.
No way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we don't say that in Belfast anyway.
Yeah. It's cool.
Oh, so interesting how every single instrument is in both of our families. I used to play guitar.
You used to play, yeah.
Yeah, I
I
played for like
like
a
it
year or
because
two.
I like instruments that I can like play and sing at the same time. I don't like when it's like my mouth is occupied. I'm like, but I want to sing too. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you sing as well?
Hmm.
Mhm.
I'm not like a great singer, but like I know how to hit the notes. Like I can hit the notes and hold them, you know.
Okay,
But
you can play
I
in
haven't
tune.
had any like voice lessons or anything. Like I have like musical sense. So like I know what works, what doesn't. I can harmonize things. I can do the basics. But if I were to
Yeah,
go out and sing, people would be like, "Oh wow, he's got an amazing voice." I think what I have going for me is like the emotion behind the voice. Like when I really like
yeah,
channel, like I make the songs like genuine and authentic. I think that's what I have going for me. Not so much
nice.
the quality of. I mean, I'm decent, but I'm not gonna be on America's Got Talent or anything like
Got a while and got a way to go to that. Here's an interesting fact for you.
Yeah,
Did you know that choral singing, so singing in a group, is just as beneficial as meditation for your mind?
really.
Yeah,
Mm. That makes sense because you're kind of like you're all kind of connecting together and like it's kind of like a mass meditation in some ways because you're all like creating music. I don't know.
yeah,
You could
you're.
argue that meditate like music is a kind of meditation.
It is because you're being present in that moment,
Hmm.
and especially being in a group,
Hmm.
it's you've got that sense of community, and so you're bonding, creating synergy, and it releases a hell of a lot of endorphins
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah. Music is like
Yeah,
very powerful for our species, for other species too. I mean, think about birds and stuff.
yeah,
It's not just us.
yeah,
There's other
man.
animals that will dance and things. So it has a lot of power for sure.
One thing that's actually really helped me with my psychosis is just like mindful walking in the nature and then listening to bird song.
Mm,
It's so peaceful, and it not only silences your own voice, but it silences the other voices you hear in your head too.
mm, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to share about your psychosis, about your experience, or think something that you would want to say um, to the audience, or
Um, I have a lot to say on my psychosis, I'm being honest. Um, just the reason I'm creating this vlog, well, I have created this vlog to share my experiences
mm,
so that I can help other people.
mm,
So actually, everything that I've mentioned so far, I have not mentioned on my vlog yet. So uh, there's a lot of other good stuff on the vlog that is new material for the people.
mm.
Um, yeah, I don't know, man.
All right, guys,
Yeah,
thanks for
so,
tuning in. Make sure to check out Leo the Leprechaun's channel. He's got a lot of good content. He's going to make more. Um, he's got a very unique perspective, a different perspective than me. So be sure to check him out and see what he's got. And any closing remarks before we end the video here?
yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Just Being Hayden, for this opportunity to speak to you.
Mm,
Um, I'm very grateful that we've been able to chat and build a relationship over Zoom.
mm,
As I I've really connected to you on a different level, which
mm,
has been a very enlightening experience.
mm,
As I don't really know many people that have psychosis,
mm.
well, you're just a fucking awesome guy, so it really helps.
Oh,
So
thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm grateful for you too, you know, because connecting with people like this, it helps me grow. It helps me understand myself better. It helps me understand how to help others better. So it's just a win-win all around. So thank you for reaching out and, you know, making it happen. So,
yeah, well, no, thank you, honestly. Um, yeah, all of your subscribers, um, Layo the Leprechaun, plenty more of this and how to battle psychosis,
mm,
um, and experiments too. So tomorrow's vlog is going to be on me going through a 3-day fast.
mm,
So Yeah. That's about it, man.
Yeah. I'll put the link in the description below for his channel so you guys can check it out. So, all right,
It's
I'll see
like,
everyone
like
later and catch you in my future videos. Bye for now.